Alright my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fresh episode of Planet Zoo and our Hyland Zoo build. Today, no habitat, but it is the beginning of a brand new area in the zoo. If you've missed last episode, my friends, the link is above right now. It was the Chinese pangolin, I do believe, is what we built last time. Another addition to the Asian area in the zoo that is coming along quite nicely. But I have started having ideas about other areas of the zoo. It's starting to expand out north of the entrance, and I had this idea for a restaurant that had multiple viewing areas, had a big plaza outside, basically a huge area for guests to be able to congregate, to not only see the animals, but to get take a load off, places to sit, and get some food in should they wish. So we're going to be building this big sort of cafe, and we're calling it a Masai Cafe. It's African themed, and basically we're going to be extending the African area that we've got out into the zoo. Now, what I was thinking where this restaurant's concerned and where the African area is concerned is that a lot of the African animals that we've placed in the zoo to this point are all from sort of like the rainforests of Africa, like the okapi, the gorillas, and so on and so on. So what I really wanted to try and do was bring some animals from Africa that live more on the plains out in the Serengeti. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Some of the habitats that are going to be built in this area are going to be multi-animal habitats as well. A lot of those animals that you find in that area all live amongst each other, and you find in zoos that they will place them all together. There is going to be a teaser on what one of the animals is going to be that's going to sit directly near this restaurant, because as I've already said, this restaurant is going to have multiple viewing areas, and you're going to see that all come together as you see the speed build. Now, the speed build is a very, very long build. This was a very long build. I've had to cut quite a lot of it though. I've basically done the majority of the restaurant for you to watch and see that get built, but there is a lot of gardening, a lot of once again, a lot of sort of like the plaza area being built that I've cut, and I'm just going to show you that in the live section of today's episode. Because it's very tedious. I know that there are some people that want to see that because they want to see how I put that sort of stuff together. And I've kind of mentioned in the past that I am going to start going live, whether it be on YouTube or on Twitch eventually. Just at the moment, time doesn't allow me to do so. But when I start going live on Twitch, you'll be able to watch that stuff because I will have more time to bring it to you. But it's going to be a long episode. Hope you guys don't mind where that's concerned. I've stopped apologising for these episodes being so long. I like the sort of time-lapse section to be a little slower than what some of the guys on YouTube offer, because I just feel like some of the details get missed if you have the time-lapse of any faster than I've got it. Personally, that's just my opinion. I know that some people like to have it a bit quicker so they can fit more in their time-lapses, but that's not my style and not the way I'm going to do it. Now, you'll see in the time-lapse the roof has gone on. There is a slight change to the roof, and you'll see that during the course of the time lapse, but the roof is on, and I'm having to do this because obviously we need to get all the spacing right because of the way that this restaurant is going to come together. The main hub of the restaurant is going to have this roof, and then there's going to be a flat roof on two additional parts. So the way I'm looking at it is that initially we just had the restaurant, and then at a later date the viewing sections were added on, and that's why they look ever so slightly different. It was very, very difficult for me to kind of fit this and know what was going to happen with this when I was building it, because it's being built in an area where there's no foliage, there's nothing basically. It's a bit like when we first started the zoo. It's a blank canvas and we go again, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing with this sort of African area. And I'm really excited actually to get this built. A lot of people have been asking for some of the big five in the where the game's concerned. They want elephants and lions and that sort of stuff, and we just didn't really have an area to put anything like that in the past, but now we do. Now that I've started this part of the African area, I feel like we can really start cracking on with some of those animals. I've kind of got an idea of the two or more animals that I want in this area. I want to try and split it over the two viewing areas. I don't want it to be one exhibit for the two viewing areas. There's a part of the building that I designed with this in mind, I'm going to split the two habitats along this sort of diagonal point. We're going to have one animal one side and numerous animals in the other. So I kind of got an idea of the animals that I want here. As I've already said, there's a bit of a teaser and it gives it away when you see the live section of what one of the animals is going to be. But yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the live section. I don't really want to tease that too much right now. I think we'll do that when we get to the live section. But you'll see this building, it's coming together. It is a thing of beauty when it's finished. You know, if I do say so myself, it still needs a few minor details, in my opinion, here and there. I think that there's certain walls inside that are a little bit plain. Maybe we could do something with the very high ceiling that there is in the building as well. But yeah, there's still a few little finishing touches that need doing. But as I said when I first started building this zoo, I didn't want it to be themed to a point where it looked tacky. I still wanted it to remain sort of very sort of realistic, the way a zoo would do it. So I don't want to go over the top with the sort of detailing and the things we could you know, place around. I think that to a point I've got it very, very nice. I've kind of got the balance really nice, but still needs some work. So this is today episode 18, I do believe. I might have got that wrong, but if it is episode 18, it means we've only got one more build episode before we do a zoo so far episode. Every 10th episode we do a zoo so far. I know we did one episode 15, but that was just because I was having a bit of a brain fart. I was having a bit of a creative block for a little while. So yeah. Episode 20 will be a zoo so far. I think it's going to be quite an interesting zoo so far because we're starting a brand new area in the zoo. So there's going to be a lot to look at when we get to that. Obviously, I do a lot of work off cam. You know, all of the foliage, all of the, you know, little detail bits on the path and placing fences and all that. The stuff that's, you know, it's not exciting to watch. You know, I know a lot of people, they come to YouTube because they want to see habitats go together, or you know, buildings go together. They don't want to see people placing rocks and trees and all that sort of stuff. I know from the series that I watch, that's not the fun stuff, and that's not the stuff I really want to watch. So I kind of get it, and I'm just kind of, you know, learning as I go along. Before I crack on talking more about the series, there is a thank you I want to make. Thank you to everyone that's hit that subscribe button. Thank you to everyone that's ever viewed a video. I think we're up to something like 330 odd subscribers now, which is not bad going. I've only been doing this second channel for a couple of months now, and I upload, what, twice a week? So it's incredible. It really is incredible to think that, you know, that many people have decided to subscribe to this channel, and the fact that, you know, I average really good views on these videos, and you know, it's not all about that for me. I'm just having fun at the end of the day. I'm playing a game that I really enjoy playing. I think it's a really fantastic game. I don't really think it's got too many issues either, which is really rare to say. There's plenty of games that come out that, you know, just don't play how you expect them to. And the one thing I'll say as well for Planet Zoo is that you know, alright, I'm having some issues. I'm getting to a point where we've got a lot of stuff in the zoo now, but the performance is still amazing on my PC. My PC is good, don't get me wrong. I've got a very, you know, high-end PC, but it wasn't built for this sort of thing. My PC was built for graphic design and editing, because it's what I do a little bit of that in my spare time. And obviously I do quite a bit of it where YouTube's concerned. On that subject, I do really need to sort of clean up these videos a bit more now. I feel like, you know, initially when I first started this channel, it was very much a wham bam thank you man where the videos were concerned. I do want to get a tiny little intro together for this series now. I think that we're further enough into it that I probably could, and I need to get myself an end screen sorted out, and I definitely need to get some lower thirds so that you guys can see my socials. A few people have been asking if I am on sort of like the social media side of it and stuff, and I am, and as I say on my other channel, it is the best way to stay up to date with everything that's going on with yours truly. I'm probably going to use the same socials for this channel though as I do my Fandango football channel. It just makes life easier. I can't stand having too many social media accounts. You know, it's bad enough that I've got a personal Facebook and my sort of, I guess you could call it business Facebook, but it's just my YouTube stuff. I haven't with Twitter. I got rid of my personal one and just do it all through Fandango. It just makes life easier. But yeah, I will be linking all this stuff. I will start to gradually clean these videos up ever slightly in the coming weeks. It just, as I say quite a lot, you know, it's time. And I would rather put all my time into making the stuff in the game and doing a quick time lapse and a live video for you than I would spend a couple of hours having to make all these other bits and bobs. It's just the way it is where I'm concerned. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink. So I've had a bit of a sore throat, so apologies for the moment of silence. But a lot of people have been asking for certain animals, so I'm going to get onto that subject now. I say to you guys in every single video, let me know your suggestions for animals that you'd like to see in the zoo. Now, I'm asking for your suggestions, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that that's what's going to be built next episode. I do feel like I need to let you guys know that, because I feel like maybe some people are a bit disappointed when they come on and they see that, we're doing something else. Like like last episode, for instance, Chinese pangolin. I'd never even mentioned that animal, and no one had in the comments either, but because I looked at the zoo, I looked at that space, I thought that would be perfect for in there. That's why I did it. Sometimes, like today's episode is a prime example. I said to you guys last episode, what animals would you like to see? A lot of people were saying this, that and the other, and I actually went in with the idea of building a tapir exhibit near where the okapi are. Now, that went sideways, because then I thought to myself, I really need to start thinking about a bigger sort of, African plains area, because people had been mentioning stuff like your lion, for instance. Someone said they think that we need a big cat in the zoo, and obviously they know I'm working on the tiger exhibit, but because that's a lot of hard work, why don't you try and do something that's a little bit easier? Why don't you think about doing the lion? And I thought, yeah, actually that's a really good idea, but when I looked at the zoo, we didn't really have anywhere for it. It just didn't really fit with what African animals we've got at the moment. So I wanted to separate it, and that's why I came in and did this first. And so this is essentially sort of like, it won't sit in the centre, but this is sort of like the centre point for the new African area. This is where it all begins. You would come up to this restaurant, and then the path will split two ways, and you'll be able to take those paths, and it's going to do like a loop, basically. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a safari for this. Someone has asked if I would do a safari tour. I'm not sure if this zoo, in the way that we're thinking about it, and the story that we've put together, would be big enough to house a safari. What I am thinking of doing, though, is doing like a train on a loop. A bit like... I'm trying to think of a zoo. Maybe Colchester Zoo, I think, is like that, where it doesn't go in the habitats. It's raised slightly. It goes up and back. So it just goes up. It follows this route, it turns around and it comes back, and you see the animals out either side, but it doesn't cut through the exhibits. I'm thinking about maybe doing something like that. I think that would be quite nice, but as far as stuff that cuts through exhibits, very much doubt it, because this is a city zoo, and they don't tend, in this country at least, in England, they don't tend to be big enough city zoos to have anything like that inside. London Zoo doesn't have any transportation stuff inside it, because it is in such a tight, confined area that they've had to use all the space to the best of their ability to be able to place as many animals in the zoo. They've got an incredible amount of species in the zoo at London Zoo. It has to be said, when you think about how big London Zoo is. It's not very big at all, but so whether or not we do a safari tour, I'm not sure, but I might do like a train on like a loop, and if I'm going to do it, this is where I would probably do it. This would be the perfect area to do it, because there's going to be a lot of animals in this section of the zoo. When you look at the base game, and then you look at the amount of animals that are in it, I think there's 72 animals in the zoo. The majority of them are African animals. No surprise, because obviously that's where a lot of the world species are found, but they do dominate the game, and so there will be plenty of brand new animals in this area. I do hope you're enjoying the speed build today. It's one of those tedious ones, though, I'm afraid, because obviously buildings are very different to habitats. It's a lot of zoom in, zoom out where the camera's concerned, place pieces, to try and make the building look nice. It's all well and good, getting the shape of the building, but actually getting it to look like a building is a completely different thing. You'll see that, when we get to the live section, when this all comes together, it looks, really nice, and it all makes sense as well. There's a lot you don't see where this building's concerned. I had to cut a lot out. You know, you got to think that I think we were nearly at 34 minutes or 34 minutes just for the time-lapse section of today's video, and that's just me doing the building. So could you imagine how long the video would have been had I added all of the gardening and the fountain that's been put in as well? It's a very unique fountain. I'm not sure what you guys are going to make of it, but you know, I created this shape, and I thought, yeah, that would look nice if we put that inside a fountain maybe, and it evolved. It just evolved from there. I had no intention of doing a fountain. I just wanted a couple of statues and sculptures and some planting, and that was it. And it was going to be really basic, and then it just turned out to be really grand in the end. But I'm glad it did, because as I've already said, this is the centre point that you meet for the African area, and yeah, it's really nice. Just coming to the speed build at the moment, this is a little idea for anyone that plays Planet Zoo. If you're trying to detail your buildings and you can't really find anything you know, in the game, use your shapes and just put them on the wall, and then use some wood pieces, change the colours about. Trust me, you'll be amazed what you can do. And I feel like this really brought the wall to life for us. And yeah, we do this either side. Looks really cool, and maybe I need to do a bit more of this, especially inside the building, and maybe on some of the walls outside. You're going to see when we get to the live section, the walls are very plain. I'm not 100% on the colour just yet, but I didn't want it to look too garish by matching the colour of the walls to the colour of the building. It's a very orange building, as you can see. So yeah, I feel like I've gone completely off track. I was talking about animals, weren't I? And then I've gone back to talking about all sorts of other stuff. This is the problem when you do voiceover for speed builds and things. Your brain just goes all over the place. But yeah, I hope what I was saying about the animals made sense. Just because you make a suggestion doesn't mean it's always going to be next episode that you get it. But what I will say is they are duly noted. I have a pad, and I write down the animals that you guys suggest, so that I know that they're the really popular ones. They're the top animals that people want to see. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm making the series not only for myself, I'm making it for you guys. You're really enjoying it, and there's certain things that you want to see in the game. The one thing I am going to say as well is when we do the next Zoo So Far episode, I'm going to spend a lot more time you know, watching the animals and actually taking in the exhibits, because I feel like we run around the zoo and I go, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done some detailing here, what do you think of this? But you never really get to see the animals, and that's what this game is all about at the end of the day. So yeah, when we do that Zoo So Far episode, it might be a bit longer than our usual Zoo So Far episodes, but I think it'll be well worth it. And we'll take a good look at all the animals, because the one thing that you guys have missed out on is that the animals are forever changing in the zoo. The gorillas, for instance, you know, our original male, he's long gone. The original two females are long gone. You know, they've passed away on us because so much time's passed in the zoo. One of their young is now sort of like one of the females. We've had to get a new male into the zoo because then our second male, Darren, he passed away recently. So yeah, it's forever evolving. The Okapis, I can only have two at a time, so whenever they have young and then they mature, we send them off to the wild, which is a great thing because it's a conservation zoo, but and so on and so on. It's exactly what happens with the animals. So I feel like when we do that Zoo So Far episode, I will walk you around the zoo and you can take it all in, because I think that's only fair. You come along to see the zoo not only for the build, but surely for the animals. I'm sure you've all got an emotional attachment to all the animals that you've suggested to have in the zoo. I will just rattle off though the top suggestions so far for animals that people want to see. Now, the tapir is top. I've had more people ask for the tapir than anything else, so that is duly noted, trust me. The thing about the tapir is it's on the very top of South America and through the Central Americas, and there's not many animals from that area in the game, so I can't at this moment in time do say like a South American area, which is a little annoying. I would have expected maybe a few more animals from South America, when you consider that in South America we have the biggest rainforest in the world, in the Amazon, that has more species of animal in it than anywhere else on the planet. It is surprising to me that we didn't get more South American animals. You know, I would really like maybe say I would like the river otter that we've got in the Amazon. I think that would be amazing. I think that would be a great animal to have in the zoo as well. And I like that one over the more sort of like European one, because it's bigger. And I just think the size and stuff would be really cool. Obviously, a jaguar, that would be a cool addition. Cayman, that would be amazing. These are all from the Amazon. It could be done. The one thing I really want to see is some smaller rainforest animals so that we could make a rainforest house. Now, someone suggested to me ages ago, why don't you make a rainforest house? We just don't have the animals at the moment. But, like smaller monkeys, like a capuchin, that would be amazing. A sloth, how amazing would that be? It could all go in a rainforest. And they don't have to be exhibit animals. They could be, proper animals, but they could all go together because of the area that they're from. I just think that they missed a trick where sort of like the Amazon's concerned, the developers, but for all we know, it could be a DLC a little further down the line. So yeah, the tapirs at the top, I just haven't placed it yet because obviously there's a limit on sort of like the animals we've got from that area, so I have to be really careful about where I want to place it. Second most suggested on my list so far is the lion. Loads of people have requested the lion, but as you can see, we're building like a brand new area that will eventually house the lion. The snow leopard's quite high up. People want to see that, and then they want to see something big. I've had people say the Indian elephant. That's been asked for a few times. So yeah, I've got a list of animals, the ones that you've been asking for, and I will be getting to them very, very soon, and building them and getting them into our fabulous zoo, ladies and gents. I think I've waffled enough for today's speed section of the episode. I will leave you by saying, keep getting your animal suggestions in. Let me know in the comment section what you make of this build as well, but enjoy the rest of the speed build, and I'll see you shortly for the live section of today's episode. So my friends, welcome to the live section of today's episode. I'm going to apologise for looking a little bleary-eyed, but I am recording the live section the day after I done all of the build. And what a build it was, about 6.5 hours I think I spent doing this whole thing. Yeah, it's mental that I've spent that long just doing this area, but I think we can all agree it looks really, really nice. And yeah, I think that when it's all finished, it's going to look amazing. I would say it's probably about 50% done. There's still so many little details and stuff that I want to do to the area. But yeah, it is what it is. But this is what we've got, ladies and gents. Now, as you can see, all of the gardening and all of that stuff, we didn't do that on camera. We did all that off camera because it took so long. About 2 hours I spent doing all of this stuff, you know, trying to get this unique floor and stuff like that. These mosaic pieces actually ended up looking fantastic as floor pieces. You know, a lot of people use them on the walls, but I sunk them in the floor, wanted to see what they look like, and then didn't realise you could change the colour, so I got them all to match. Yeah, absolutely love them. Brilliant stuff where that's concerned. I've just realised there's loads of stuff popping off because we've got it on play at the minute. I'm going to pause it because I just can't keep up. You know what's annoying is that bloody engineer just went round here, he took a look at them, and that's smoking. That means that that's not working very well. Absolute idiot. Anyway, yeah, so I did all of this stuff. Let's take a look at this first, then we'll take a look at the building. So I've done all this planting this side. I'm probably going to do it this side as well to match. The reason I didn't is because I wanted to see how much space I had, because I wanted to put a generator in, and obviously I still need to take this path off this way. So just so you can see where this is, when you come over the bridge, we used to just go this way to the visitor centre. We now tail off and we come this way to the African area. This is going to split here as well, and we're going to bring it up here and join it to this, and then this is going to split and it's going to go around in a loop type thing. And then over here is going to be where we sink sort of like a trough viewing area. A bit like where we've done with the bears, because I think the animal that I'm going to tell you about that I want to put in here, it makes sense to do that. So yeah, I'll get all of this done probably off cam and get all this finished up. But yeah, so we've done all the planting this side. I've got a lovely little seated area here. There's an Easter egg here. Try and work it out for yourself before I tell you. We've got all of the planting all done around the edge. We've got all the trees done. It's looking really nice. I've done the same this side to make it all look uniform. A very unique wall here. I've just sunk some bits of bamboo in just to make it look a bit different. I feel like I need to do some trim on the top of the wall, and I'm not sure about the colour. If you think it needs to be a different colour, let me know your suggestion, and I'll see what I can do. It's white at the minute, but I'm just not 100%. I like it. It looks clean. It looks really nice. I think it would look different if we put trim and stuff on the top. But if you think it needs to be a different colour, let me know. And then this is the fountain I was talking about. I'll just hit play. This is the fountain I was talking about, ladies and gents. I just created this shape, this circle shape, and then I replicated it, stuck them next to each other, and then it just kind of took a mind of its own. And yeah, this is what we ended up with. And yeah, it looks really, really nice. I think we can all agree. So yeah, just going to pause it again because I've got loads of stuff popping off and I can't keep up while I'm trying to do this. So all the planting's done apart from this bit here, this bit and this bit. I wanted, obviously, the planting is very uniform, but I kind of want to go with something a bit different at the front. I feel like it needs to be a bit different. I just got to finish off this little section over here. So yeah, we've done all these pots, lots of seating. I wanted this to be an area where people came not only just to get food and drink, but where they could come and sit and, you know, take a load off. You get places like that in zoos. Like I say, all this needs planting up over here. So now I'll just walk you through the building so that you can see exactly what's inside now that it's finished. I do still think a few details need to be added. And obviously, because these are going to be exhibits, there'll be some education and whatever in there as well. So I added this little arch after the speed build had finished because I wasn't happy with the entrance. It looked all right, but I just weren't that happy. I feel like I need to have, you know, Masai Cafe, a little sign here. So I'll probably try and work on that as well. But you can come in this way or you can come in this way. So if you come in this way and you turn to this round here, you'll see the toilet. So yeah, it's probably the quickest way for people to go who are about to wet themselves. And then you've got your shops in the middle. This is all done. This is all lovely jubbly. And then you've got them over this side as well. We've got a few benches inside should people want to sit in here rather than outside. And then you come round to these sides, around to the edges. Now these are the viewing areas. And this viewing area here is going to look out on potentially, the Easter egg was there, I don't know if you guys worked it out, but potentially the giraffe. And with the giraffe, I'm thinking of placing the zebra. So there'll be a couple of animals in the one exhibit. London Zoo have the zebras and the giraffes together, and then they've got this clever split where the zebras obviously go off into their house, giraffes go off into theirs in the evening, and they keep them separate. Or if there's a newborn animal or whatever and they need to keep them separate, they can do so. And that's how I kind of want to try to build this exhibit. Obviously I want to try and do a raised platform as well for the giraffe, because that's very popular in zoos. So yeah, I want to try and do that. I've got some ideas where that's concerned. And then you walk around here, and then we've got another viewing area over this side, and this viewing area is going to be for the lions. I've already made that decision. This is definitely going to be for the lions. Don't know how wise it is when you think about how close it is to the shop, you know, what the queues can get like. But yeah, this is going to be the viewing area for the lions over here. And I've got an idea. I'll just take you outside because I want to share my idea with you. So obviously we've got the scratch post for the lions. I want to put the scratch post in about here, and we'll take a piece of rope to the building, and then we'll take a piece of rope and we'll put some other pylons in, and I'm going to put like a canopied area, so then the lions will come over here and potentially lay down in the shade. I think it would be really, really cool. This part of the building here was built this way on purpose as well, so that we could separate the exhibits, because obviously we don't want the lions getting in with the giraffes and vice versa. So we will take the wall to the lion exhibit up this way, we'll take the wall to the giraffe and zebra exhibit up this way, and then wrap round there and wrap round there. And then at this point here will probably be where the hard shelters are, and where the staff buildings and all that are, because then they can be built quite close to each other, and we can have all of our paths for the staff all at the back to keep it, the realism going, and have all of our backstage lot all built properly and nice. So yeah, that's where it is. That's how it's going to work. That path's going to go there, then the path's going to loop all the way around, thinking about having the train stop over here, and the train would come up, around, back and in for the African area. And I've kind of built this here for the train stop so that we can, maybe put the nameplate and stuff on the back. But yeah, that's what we've done. It's getting there. It's looking really nice. Whether or not I do one of those animals next episode, you'll have to wait and see. People have been asking for the tapir so much. I feel like I should do the tapir, but I've done a lot of work on this to get a brand new area started. I feel like I should at least get one animal in before I do the tapir. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But my friends, if you're new to the channel, you like it, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. That's really appreciated by your boy. And hit that bell notification button to never miss an episode. But my friends, we are done for another episode of our Hyland Zoo build. You stay extra, and I'll see you next time.